Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Hoop Room at Hoopsters. As you're aware, we try our best to address topics that are relevant to our everyday life. And not just that we also identify people who are qualified, reliable, and have put in years of sincere effort in dealing with the subject to deliver these addresses. Today we bring to you a topic that everyone is talking about but not really answering the questions or even giving solutions, or in extreme cases, not even addressing the way it should be addressed. In short, like most issues, everyone is just skimming the surface and leaving things hanging. We have with us Shivani Modgil, the co-founder of Vision Welfare Institute, a vocational training facility for differently able adults, especially those diagnosed with autism. Thank you, Shivani, for agreeing to come on this show. We really require people like you to, come and talk and remove the stigma from most of the subjects that are brushed under the carpet.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you for inviting me. On the outset, let me first congratulate you. The work that you are doing, the scope and the scale of the work that you are doing is really wonderful.
Thanks a lot.
And you're addressing issues which need to be addressed, looked into in the eye, and the truth to be brought out. So it is a privilege to be here and talking about autism, special children, what we are doing with them, what are the kids doing, what is inclusion, what is inclusivity, are we really,
Oh yes,
first of all,
I like this kind of terminologies that are used nowadays. You've got inclusion, diversity, and it goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I'm a filmmaker too myself, so I deal with a lot of corporates, and I hear these jargons that keep popping up every year.
Yeah.
So there is one agenda which comes from I don't know which international head office, which says this year we are going to take up this as our activity, and nobody seems to know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So we are trying our best to see how we can put forth these thoughts, and if we can bring about a change and we can actually create change catalysts, I think we'll go a long way in bringing about a difference. So starting with that, I would like to ask you one first question is, why did you agree to come and speak on this show?
We are running a residential facility with special adults. We are giving them 24-hour care, and we are also coming across companies who want to do CSR, who want to do inclusion. There is a lot of work, a lot of talk about inclusivity, in the society, in the education system. So actually, it sounds very nice. It's very nice, but really, is it happening? Is it really happening? For example, there is this company who approached me and said that, hey, we want to send our staff over to spend some time with your children. We want to see what they are doing and to interact with them. And, quite a known company said that we want to send our staff. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a good idea. Why not? And then I sounded it out with my team, and I said, this company wants to come, and this is their CSR activity. So somebody on the team said, no, listen, this is not CSR. This is not called CSR activity. They're coming, they're spending time with the kids, and the kids may not like it actually. And that's true, right? Because in autism, the children don't like to meet strangers. They will be disturbed, So you are coming to spend time with me. Maybe I'm, making you aware of autism, and it is an opportunity for me to spend, take that opportunity and, tell you what is autism and all that. But this doesn't qualify as CSR activity.
That's the problem today. The whole definition of certain terminologies is so confusing. Nobody knows the real stuff, especially when it comes to CSR, which we'll get to later. But the basic thing is, why did you start this institute? See, one of the things when you talk about any challenges, especially autism, which is the most talked about amongst the whole gamut of issues. People talk about for children. Anything we see, we'll only talk about children, and they're all -5 years or -6 years of age. Very few will talk about parents. So we did this big program with one of the top experts in the country, where we address the parents, because everybody forgets that the parents are the ones who really need help. Okay.
Exactly.
So we need the program. But you are talking about doing something with adults.
Yes.
Because see, unlike other issues, autism is not curable. One.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong issue.
Yes.
And as you grow older, and if you have not had enough support when you're younger, it can be bad.
Yeah.
So having said all that and the complexity of the issue itself, why did you decide to start this?
So this is for very selfish means. I have an 18-year-old son. He has gone through whatever schooling there was, this giving level C exams of NIOS and all that, which is completely, doesn't understand anything, gets a reader and writer, gives the exam, passes the exams, but doesn't understand anything in the syllabus. And he can do very good work. He's very good at doing work. And if I keep him engaged, meaningfully engaged, give him work, he can do cutting, chopping, sweeping, any work I give him, he's happy, But there is no place where I can send him or make him do this kind of work. There are no vocational training places, or there are very few. I won't say there aren't. There are very few. They are not in our reach. And these kids are not, meaningfully engaged. Forget employment. Employment is a little far away, That's like my goal, But the next 200 meters I can't see, If I have to win the marathon, the next 200 meters or whatever, 100 meters, 50 meters, there's no way of keeping him busy, of keeping him, engaged. So a vocational center was the need of the hour. And lots of adults on the spectrum are not doing anything. They are at home. And if they are, everything that is being done is by the enterprise of the mothers, the parents, private enterprise. There's no government intervention. If there is, people are not aware of it. Professionals are trying to do it. There are very good professionals in this field, but it's not enough. It's simply not enough.
So what are the challenges you face?
We don't have vocational training centers. We don't have work. We don't know how to keep them busy. What are the skills my son has? Suppose I have to, I don't know what, I know his skills. Okay, I'm his mother. But if I take a population of adults, what are their skill sets? What can they do? And if they can do anything, how can I use it? What do I do, with this skill set? If he's good at computers, or if he's good at doing work with his hands, how do I make use of it? So this training center has come together, the vocational training center and the residential, where we are trying to find work, and we have been able to find work for the children. So in this last 10 months, we have got 2 or 3 vocational we have got job work where we are able to give work to the kids 3 or 4 hours in the day. We can meaningfully engage them. Also, we have other activities, built into their program. So the whole day they are engaged and they are happy,
So what really happens in these institutes?
So, it's like, it's a hostel, it's a residential facility where they get up in the morning, they have their, ADL activities of daily living, like taking their baths, getting ready, having breakfast. Then there is a session of yoga, there is dance. And after that, they start with some vocational work. Of course, this is after breakfast. Then there is a break for lunch, there is leisure time. Then again, there is some work. There is a gym that is there. There is a computer room. So their day is, organized from morning to evening. It is organized. And since it is organized and they know what to do one after the other, there are no behaviors. So in the lockdown, when the kids were at home and they had nothing to do and they were in a small environment, in a house where there are 2 people, the mother, the father, maybe a sibling, who are all busy in their own lives. And these children who are, some of them, going to school, now suddenly there is no place to go and there is no engagement, there is nothing to do. So this has come like a respite, to them, the respite to the parents and respite to the children. Now once they're taken out of the home where they were having lots of behavior, some of the kids were getting violent. Some kids started having seizures. My son started his seizures after 2 years, because simply there was no outlet for him. He was not allowed to go down, while he's very active. He's a sports person. He swims, he cycles, he skates. Now, so this center has come as such a respite. It saved our lives, where he does sports activities, he does gymming, he does vocational work, he's with kids, he celebrates festivals, birthdays.
But how do
So
you see, especially considering autism, which
yeah,
is is crazy spectrum,
yeah,
and there are no definite behavioral patterns also, if you look at
yeah,
a bigger picture.
yeah.
How do you manage having so many kids? How are they behaving themselves? Or how
So
do you manage it?
see, these activities are very simple, right? Playing, doing yoga, singing is very simple. So we have trainer, we have special educators. Some of the kids require assistance. Some of the kids don't do it in the beginning, but when they are in that environment, when they see other kids doing it, they start doing it. They join in. So a child who would not be eating rice at home, something simple like that, comes to the center and eats rice, eats chapati, eats everything that is there on his plate. But while at home, he's throwing a tantrum. And at home, he may be very pampered and not allowed to do anything. He's a special child. Let him to just do this many activities. When he comes here, he starts using a knife, starts cutting vegetables, doing vocational work. So sometimes we are, cushioning the child so much and keeping him in a cocoon that we are actually stopping the growth of the child. While when he comes here, so regardless of what the child is, he's in that environment and you don't know, he picks up. It's your limiting belief.
No, I like the word you use, limiting belief.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what our research has shown, that
yeah,
we have a limiting, a
yeah,
belief in the potential of an individual.
yeah,
And that's something that needs to change. And that's the reason why we are involving parents and people who are going through the experiences. Because when it comes from the expert, they normally seem to go by a bookish knowledge.
yeah,
And the minute they go from the bookish knowledge, everything goes for a toss.
yeah, yeah.
We are
I
looking at
know.
that.
Yes, yes. And you know your child. Yes, you know your child, but somewhere you have to take a risk. You
Yes.
have to, trust, that the child can do, little bit of risk is required. You cannot keep saving the
It's not
child.
a risk. It is that nobody's telling them. Nobody's telling them that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
You
yeah,
normally go and they'll give you a list of don'ts
yeah,
rather than do's.
yeah,
So having addressed that, um, say you are putting people together. I don't know where you're getting your special educators from. Do we have institutes that train them? How good is the
yes,
training?
yes.
Are the numbers who are coming out good enough? Like for example, if people are going to watch this video
Hmm.
and they want to be special educators,
Yeah.
how do they go about it? How do they
So,
go about learning about being a special educator?
So we have partnered with Mr. Sanjeev Tripaঠি's institute called his institute, Vision Welfare Institute. Sanjeev Tripathi has been in this field for 21 years. He has been running a residential, and the trainers who are with him, the special educators, have been with him for a number of years. They've been there, and he has a pool of special education. Like he knows everybody in Mumbai, maybe even outside Mumbai in Pune. Where he has this network of special educators, and there are lots. He has a lot of resources. Of these people who can help us. There are lots of them. And there is a paucity of male special educators. There are not many men here, so you have more females here, but with boys, adult boys, you need males, and we have them. We have we have a list, and now with the pandemic and so many schools closing down, and so there is no paucity of staff, as such, trainers like you're saying. And even apart from that, apart from the special education or the degree, what I have found is that to really have compassion, for these children, you may not have a degree, but you may be able to so beautifully build a rapport with these children.
Yeah,
Those are the people who last. Those are the people who will really help you. So,
Mr. Tripathi seems to be on
Yes, Mr.
I've been
Tripathi is there
told.
here. Yeah.
So I'll definitely come back to you in some time. So
Yeah.
please be prepared.
Yeah.
And having said that, see, we all okay. See, I'm also part of the NAB, the National Association of Blind Bangalore, and
Huh.
we are doing a lot of work. We're doing some amazing work,
Huh.
and I know how this whole thing works between developing skills and looking for jobs and stuff like that. But when it comes to, especially comes to things like autism and things, people still don't understand anything.
Yes.
Yeah, when
Yes.
it comes to the visually challenged, there is a process, there is a structure, there is some things they can do or something I can give them. But when it comes to autism and other challenges, the awareness is definitely
Yeah.
lacking.
So the mental disability is not visible, right?
It's not visible. And
So
there's absolutely
and
no understanding of mental disability.
mental disability, and there is a lot of stigma. There is very little awareness. There is a lot of chaos in this field. It needs a lot
Tell
of
me,
organization.
tell me, Shivani, when you started this organization and you went
Yeah.
out saying that I have this place, please send your children or the
Yeah.
elder kids on the thing.
Yeah.
What was the reaction you got from the public?
See, there is so many WhatsApp groups of parents who are like screaming, we need respite, we need a residential, we need respite, and there isn't one. There are 4 or 5 very good quality respite centers in the country. Forget in Mumbai. Good quality respite centers where there is good hygiene, good nutritious food, there is good engagement with the kids. So there is lots to be done in this sector. There's not enough people here, and people, we want private enterprise in this. We want parents, we
No, but
partnered.
that we understand. But when
Yeah.
you went and said you got this set up,
Yes.
what was the reaction from the
So
parents?
we got calls from lots of people, especially we got a call from a child who was in Thane Mental Hospital. Now we have got a call from somebody who's in Masina Hospital because he doesn't have a place to go to. He can't be at home. He's so violent, and there is no place. So they have kept him in a hospital, in a room in a hospital, a child. And this child has come to us, and he's fine now. He was violent at home, but now he's fine. So I'm not praising myself, but these children, when they're taken out of that environment, where they are violent and all, and they come here. So we have got a very good response. We started with 3 children, and now we are 15, 16 children.
What has
So
been the negativity part of it? Yes, there are people who are positive, who are very optimistic, but
yeah.
what has been the other end of the spectrum?
What are you asking? I'm not understanding. What
Uh,
other?
Other end spectrum in the sense of, I'm sure a lot of parents were skeptical about it or the questions they asked.
Oh yes, parents are. So some of the parents are skeptical. They are very they have lots of issues. Like, what is the quality going to be like? Will my child be safe? Whether the place is secure? So we address, as a parent, I know what are the issues, and I have
Okay, these seem at least genuine questions, but
yeah.
has there been any ignorant questions? You know what I mean?
Yes, there are
What are they? What are they?
So some of the parents, cannot cut the umbilical cord still. It's burning them out. There is fatigue. Their health is failing, but they cannot separate the child from themselves. They have just, dedicated themselves, and they can't see beyond the child, and it is limiting the child, limiting their lives. And even if they leave the child here, we had they, even if they leave the child here, they're so worried that there are calls, they send food by Swiggy, and silly things like that. So even parents need to be educated, counseled, and counseling is the best counseling that happens is from parent to parent. The counselors, some of the professionals in this field, the counseling doesn't happen like the way it should, and but the parents also have lots of issues. Parents are not able to take the child away from themselves also. Yeah. And
Yeah, I understand what the issues you are facing, and I'm sure the other people who want to set up welfare organizations or institutes, I realize where they're coming from, because the question that comes to your mind is, fine, I'll invest a lot of time, money, energy, etc., and set
yeah,
up this institute. We'll give us, skill sets, training to the children with challenges or
yeah,
adults with challenges.
yeah.
But the question remains, then what, right? Now, the answer for then what doesn't seem to exist. Okay, especially I come from a filmmaking background where I deal with a lot of corporates, and I have found that, even though they say one is a CSR, one is when they talk about diversity, inclusion, etc., etc., they just don't know what they are doing. So the employment for these people does not
Yeah.
exist.
No, it doesn't exist.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then even within that parameter, depending on which end of the spectrum you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, I know youngsters who are very, very good. They are very knowledgeable, intelligent. They might have a few issues which
Yeah.
are definitely under control.
Yeah.
Even they find it difficult to get jobs.
Yes. Yes.
Because somebody told me the other day that she was rejected by one of the top companies in spite of her very good record and her qualification, because she could not see eye to eye with the HR, person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it was
So
extremely, and so
that is a
therefore,
feature of autism. Like, yeah. Yeah.
exactly, she was an
Yeah.
autistic kid.
Yeah.
And she was brilliant otherwise. I mean, she
Yeah.
was very,
Yeah.
comfortable in all
Yeah.
sides. So now, when we realize that the corporates don't understand, everything is an agenda.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
CSR. I know I made films for organizations with who are involved in CSR,
Hmm.
and I have found that CSR team has no clue what is happening.
Yeah.
You
Of
know,
course. Of
everything
course.
seems to be a photo op.
Yeah. Yes.
You do something, take some 10 photographs and put it in a report and put some stats. So
Yeah.
that is the concern which we are trying to address from Hoopsters.
Yeah.
I think once we get that, process in place, and we educate corporates, educate schools,
Yeah.
that's
So
when, things are going to start moving. That's when more organizations like you will start,
yeah. Yeah. So that awareness is still not there. Awareness and sensitization is still really lacking. Awareness now, people know that autism hota hai, there are movies made, and all that. So but still that real awareness and sensitization is still lacking. That needs to be brought about. So
how does one bring about that?
so it needs deep
Because see,
understanding.
I tell you,
Yeah.
in all our research, all our efforts we put for last 5-7 years into
Yeah.
understanding these subjects,
Yeah.
one thing is, it's very unfortunate, but
Yeah.
the situation is being exploited. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
if there is a there are mental challenges or mental, health issues, it's
Yeah.
being exploited. If there is a
Yes.
problem with, say, jobs, that's being exploited.
Yeah.
So how does one overcome? And I don't see collaborations. I don't see people coming together for a cause. See, like you said, there are only 4 institutes in the whole of the country.
Yeah.
We possibly require 400,000. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in spite of knowing that there is space for everyone,
Yeah.
I don't see people coming together.
Yeah. So but there is no government. See, first
So
of all,
why
that
should
policy.
no? Even in corporates, there is
Yeah.
a rule. Government
Yeah.
also has a rule. Everybody's got a rule.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is there as a rule.
But why aren't but then we can't expect government to do everything. Why aren't the people doing things?
Private. That's what I'm saying. Like a mother, like me, or mothers or parents. I'm not. It has to come from the people who really feel deeply about it.
So how can we create that collaboration? How can we create that environment so people come together?
So
For example, talking about special needs, this is something which is happening in my conversations.
Huh.
To even talk about a special child, okay,
Hmm.
or talk about your involvement with mental health or whatever, has become fashionable.
Yeah.
It's it's very frustrating, honestly.
Yeah.
Everything is becoming fashionable. So how do we break it? The reason I'm talking to people like you is, we are looking at situations where we can collaborate,
Yeah.
we can create awareness and break the whole system. Forget the stigma. That's a different
Yeah,
story.
forget that. I know.
It
So
is
whatever.
people who are, like you said, mothers. Even
Yeah.
mothers are looking at, looking at the whole thing in a very fashionable thing, which is very hurtful.
Yeah, it is very hurtful, but we need a community. We need community. We need people to educate such community. We need support. We need community, and we need parents to come forth and do whatever is whatever is there with them. Okay, at best, what you have, you start with that. Whatever, however way you can help your child or 5 children, 3 children, 2 children around you. We started with a community of mothers. We started a WhatsApp group. Now there are so many WhatsApp, lots of things going on, but what can we do to help our children? So we started organizing parties, get-togethers at home, small things, like very very small things like that, where we meet, we talk, we network. We've kind of created a reservoir of our resources. So you have a problem, I talk to you. My child had this problem, I'm having this problem, I need a counselor, I need a doctor. So a kind of a resource pool has happened. And we have also, there are amongst this group now 2 3 NGOs have started where they are doing vocational work. So this vocational work is not only for their child, but it is given to the children, all the children in the group. Then we've started holding exhibitions where whatever the kids are making is exhibited, sold. you know um, and we are getting orders also, we are getting corporate orders also. So in our own small way, with whatever resources we had, we are doing what we can.
Okay, my question to you next is
Yeah.
it enough?
It's not enough, of
Okay,
course
so
it is.
how do we go next? See, I'll tell you why. What happens? I've seen a lot of WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
You take anything, there is a community for that. You can take
Yes.
anything. You can
Yeah.
But what I see is there are numbers either that die out fast, or there
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be a growth, or
Yeah.
there doesn't seem to be a solid purpose.
Yeah.
I might sound cynical, but I have been.
Oh, it
talking
is the
to people.
truth. Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
So how do we change that? Because every time I speak to somebody,
Yeah.
one thing they tell me is we are also doing it.
Okay.
जिसको भी पूछो ना, जिसको भी कुछ पूछो, they say we are also doing it. Now that we are also doing it is where the issue seems to be coming in.
Yeah.
Because there doesn't seem to be a collaboration. There almost seems to be a competition.
That's very sad. Yes, there is competition also, but right from first helping myself, helping my child, helping children around my child, taking it from there. Help yourself first,
Fair
take
enough.
it, and then going to the CSR, then going to the company levels, then going to the government levels. It has to be taken from that small to that big. So
Yes.
we need some impactful CSR. We need some very impactful brand mascots for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody very strong. We need strong leaders in this sector. There are not enough people. Somebody should take up this cause and make a lot of noise about it.
Yeah,
Make
we
policy.
are trying from Hoopsters. Let's see where it goes.
I know
we are
Hoopsters,
working towards it.
yeah.
We are
So,
trying to do it.
so that is one reason why I'm here also. So
Thank you. We got very decent amount of participants. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please feel free to come and talk on about
yes,
it. Or
please.
the whole idea is to bring about a change. We don't want to be the same old gang which sits and talks and does nothing. So any of you, we have people out there who are, I'm sure you're here, you're taken time off to, come here. So if you have suggestions, if you have ideas, you've got questions, please do type in the chat room. Okay, now tell me, Shivani, tell me some hilarious experiences with your corporate engagements. Do you have any?
No, I'm. This is one CSR initiative that I told you about, that they wanted to come and spend time with our children and say that this is our CSR activity. But what is happening is, very big players in this field, the biggest player, that I would not like to take names, are partnering, foreign player, and they are trying to make a change. They're training 500 people in 1 year, and for the next 3 years they want to train 500 people, and skill them and employ them. And that's 1500 people in 3 years. And we are 26 million in population. There are 26 million people with disability. So that is the scale. The disparity is in scale. And so the corporate, for them it's a mandate. We have to employ so many people, and we are looking. So there are lots of HR associations or HR companies which have come up, who approach us and they say that we will we will employ your children, and tell us which children you have, let us interview them. And but it's not really going anywhere. They have to, yes, like Mehul is saying, that they have to recruit a fixed percentage of differently abled people. It's so easy to say, and it's very difficult, to actually, it takes a lot of work, lot of understanding. I will need, if I have to train somebody for a simple task, I will need to train him and have a job coach with him, a job assistant with him, to see to it that, he is able to do his work in that environment. It's a new environment. So the challenges are, we can't even think of the challenges, and it's very easy for these mandates to come out.
Yeah. Mehul, since you asked the question, every organization across the globe has got this mandate to recruit X percentage of differently abled, employees. But what is are they really doing it? If they are doing it, what is the level? And how are they doing it? Because see, the other big problem I face with corporates is the differentiation between, and I need you to educate me on this, is this word between inclusivity and diversity. I see a massive confusion in these two terminologies. Okay, I've found some real top global organizations, and the explanations I've got when people are trying to explain diversity and try to explain inclusivity, I don't understand it. So if anybody can in the group can educate us on that, what it really means, and how do we look at these things, it'll be interesting. So these two terminologies of diversity and inclusivity is where I think everything begins, the problems begin. So Mehul, if you want to say something, please feel free. Or anybody in HR in this group, that will be exciting.
Yeah, Bala sir, and firstly I want to thank Shivani ma'am for all that wonderful work you're doing, and definitely we need more people like you. From what I understand, it as you said, Bala sir, it's very difficult to it's easy said than done. It's difficult, even if they have. I'm in the US, so there are different laws over here, but the problem is the same everywhere. In fact, diversity is more over here because there are people with all different races in this country. Black, Hispanic, Indians, and there are so many, there's a lot of diverse people. So it becomes difficult for the organization to actually, get that talent and get that kind of population they want. So I believe the only thing that can be done is either you have to get them vocationally trained in a specific like a talent where they can do something on their own, or maybe just spread awareness is I believe that's the only option I see right now. Because again, if they're differently able, something is good, someone is good at something, someone is not good at something. So again, it would be an individual choice. You have to pick up certain people and put them in one group and then train them according to their abilities or disabilities. So that's a tough job. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes it really feels like a catch-22 situation. and it can almost seem hopeless sometimes.
Yeah.
Fine, we can actually pat ourselves in the back by saying that, at least दो लोगों को कुछ काम मिल गया, या 10 people got. But in the bigger picture, that actually has no meaning at all.
Mm.
Yeah, it can be nice to say, at least let's start here. At least let us start here. Seems good, but like you said, if you got 26 million, we are looking at a very crazy future.
Yeah.
At that level. So why isn't HR trained? Why can't there be a mandate where HR gets trained? Imagine a HR professional from a top organization, which claims to be, assisting in inclusiveness and thing, telling you're not getting a job because you can't see me in the eyes. I think that's a very sad story. Okay, and I've seen all the things becoming more a lip service. And again, Mehul, I want to ask you from the corporate world. Is diversity only color of the skin, ethnicity, and sexuality? Or is it beyond that? See, this is where the whole, the borderlines are very, very thin.
Yeah,
Is a mental health variation also part of diversity? When I ask people question, nobody seems to have the right answer. See, I tell you what, 2 years back, before the pandemic, diversity meant between the man and the woman. Everyone was only talking about, helping the woman break the glass ceiling. Last year, just 1 year, 2 years back, it became sexuality. The LGBTQI group came into being as part of diversity. Okay. And then inclusion was meant like, we include everybody in decision making. We include everybody into, being part of the team and being part of the process. Some organizations defined it that way. Some organizations said, no, we are including people with mental health issues or people who are challenged at different levels. What is that? See, unless we define these things, unless somebody out there defines, how do you bring about this change? Can we get together and bring about a change? Can we make it an issue? Can we have a mascot like Shivani said? We are not thinking beyond a point to reach that, and that is what we want to reach. I think we should get out of beyond the lip service. That's where
Yeah, I believe diversity, from what I know, is just the basic the race, the color is what is the basic people think is diversity. He's from this place and he's from. It's not even in just beyond countries. It's also within the countries. Like he's from South India, he's from North India. That doesn't make sense,
Exactly.
So you just want an excuse to bifurcate people is what I understand. You just come up with, "Arey, ye yahan ka hai, wo to aise hi hoga." And then you categorize a person from without any logic.
Yeah,
and that's really
that's exactly what I was telling to Shivani the other day. Our whole inclusion even begins with the so-called normal people. Within your own group, there is a issue of inclusivity.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in say, if I go, let's take US for example. Within US, you have the North American North Indian Association, North American South Indian Association, and this guy is not included here, this one is not included there. So, how do we start there? I think it's all fair and, I'm sure, okay, now Shivani's child had a problem, so she took it up, she's doing a damn good job, she's working on it. But is that enough? Where are we going next step? And the new NEP policy has come, which includes a lot more of skill sets thing. But no school has any idea what it means. Every school says, we are inclusive, and all the international schools claim to be inclusive. At the most, they have one child who is, being taught by another teacher or something like that. They have one or upper level 2 out of 3,000 kids. And they claim to be inclusive.
Yeah, so that's a big farce, right? It's a
exactly. So why aren't we talking about all the farce that is happening there? Why are we sugarcoating things? I think it's time we stop sugarcoating. I think it's time we call a spade a spade. And it's a joke. I'm meeting schools across the country, and It's hilarious to see how they talk. They have no idea what inclusiveness is, but everyone claims to be a school which is inclusive. No, I know, Shivani, we are digressing from it, but these issues are more important.
These
Otherwise,
issues are
whatever you are doing will
yeah,
have no impact.
yeah.
Even you, as an individual, will grow
Yeah.
older and more tired.
No, so I had an issue with my daughter's school. They had buddy day, just buddy day where you bring in your best friend from your building, your environment, and introduce that buddy to your class. So I said, hey, it's a great opportunity. Why don't you take your brother? And she was very excited. She said, yeah, I'm going to take Dave because he is my best buddy. And I wrote a note to the teacher that Dave is on the spectrum and I'm sending him. And I got no reply. I assumed that she was okay. And when they went for that buddy day, they would not let him in. And this is good inclusive school, good inclusive, not an ordinary school. And I was like, you are an inclusive. What about RT and all that? So no, ma'am, the other kids may get scared and all that. I said, listen, are you really doing this to me? And it's a school where this is the place where all the awareness is supposed to start. Take him in and let him be there. It was a fight. They took him in, but it was a major fight. I had to take it up to the principal, later on. And they want to brush everything under the carpet, and they say, "Oh, we're sorry," and they get away with that much, that's all. So
you just lost your popularity points.
Yeah, but there is no check. Where is the check? Is there any government agency or is there a parent group which is checking this? Even in the field of autism, there is no governing body, there are no guidelines, there is no cap to the fees that a professional can charge.
No, but Shivani, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, this is where we are either becoming very mediocre and accepting the fact that let's first take care of our child. Let's first take care of this.
No, but that's fair. That's fair. I think. No,
I think we should go beyond the point. We should.
Of course, we have to. We have to go beyond that.
Because it's assume that you'll take care of your child. Assume that you'll take care of your family. But what's the next step? So anybody in the audience has got any suggestion, any solution? Because we really want to find answers to this. See, the new education policies, the new things are really, really good. What they require is a support system which understands what they are trying to do. Anybody from the audience has any ideas? Mr. Tripathi, I think I'll ask you to come in here. Why did you start this whole thing? I mean, hello? Mr. Tripathi, are you there? No, I don't think.
I think he's not able to.
He's there, but he's.
Anyways.
Anyway. So tell me one thing, what can schools do, Shivani?
What can schools do to...
I think we should start there, to create sensitization.
So we need lots of special educators. Special education is a small subject for these teachers, for the teachers in, who are, it's a chapter, So we need to increase the number of special educators. There are too many kids now. And it's just not this, there are kids with emotional disability, not disability, but emotional problems and develop global GDD. There is a number of things that are coming and they need to be educated. We need good quality teachers. We need good training to the teachers. We need good counselors. We need parent counselors, parents on the board of school who are not professionals, but parent counselors, So when my child was diagnosed with autism, and if I had a parent who would, who I could go to and, who would hold my hand and take me through those first 5 years where I was in complete denial, of the problem. It took me 5 years to accept that my child had autism, So we need parents parents who are understanding, empowered, to please step forward, make a difference, try to make a difference with whatever you can. So I think in
Surely,
the education system, this is some change, little bit of change which we can start with. And of course, it goes up to the policy levels, NEP and all. I don't know. Even I want to read NEP and see what is the thing that they are doing.
oh, it's really exciting. If they can do it, it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very exciting. And I think it's the right way forward.
Huh.
It is just that nobody seems to understand it.
Nobody.
Well, I was invited to be part of this group.
Huh.
Which was supposed to redesign the syllabus.
Huh.
It was absolutely an hilarious experience.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was. I'm glad our children have actually, finished their education. It would have been a mess for me to deal with that. So, okay, I want Vijay. You can come online and ask this. Tell us what you're thinking. Vijay Rao.
Vijay, can you come on?
You can put your audio on, or both audio and video.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Shivani.
Hi, Vijay.
Hi, Mr. Bala and everyone. Yeah, I just put in the chat, when this is about inclusion. So a buddy system in school will help a long way. The child can have a buddy, as a student in the school, and this buddy can grow up to be a mentor in his workplace to another special adult. That's how the buddies can't generally happen in a day's time, no. So, if that kind of a system is put in place in every school and it is mandated, instead of just hiring a shadow teacher who is always behind the child, that might really help inclusion.
Yeah, I think Vijay is a damn good suggestion. I think Hoopster should take that up. I think we should introduce this in schools, our schools and all that, and insist on every child having a buddy. I think it's a damn good suggestion. I think we should take it up. So,
Thank you.
So thank you. Tell me, we have got all the participants. What would you like to support us with? What would you think you can help us with? Anybody, however small it is.
Are you asking me, or are you asking
In
all
general,
the
anybody.
Actually, Shivani is a dear friend of mine, and we have seen her, how she has emerged like a phoenix, from all that she's gone through. Gives us a lot of pride in saying that she's a friend. I'm always there to support her, and actually I'm also a parent of a special child, so we have our limitations. I always be ready to help in whichever way Shivani feels that I'm capable of.
Oh, wonderful. As a matter of fact, one of the things we are doing is we have actually built a community of special needs parents. Parents with special needs children. So we are trying to build a community. That's what I was talking to Shivani also. So Vijay will definitely get back to you soon on that. And we need all the support we can get.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, mental health is underestimated. Okay, what's your view on that, Shivani?
Of course, mental health is underestimated. It doesn't show. And even if it shows, we don't want to see it also. We always believe that it's not happening to us. And, until it comes and sees us directly in the eyes, we believe that this is not going to happen to us. So mental health, of course, needs a lot of people coming out and talking. So you were asking whether I would know anybody with autism who could come and talk. And there is a child I know who's very good, but I don't know whether their parents have told him that he has autism. Whether the parents have or the child would understand, even if the parents would tell him. I don't know whether the child would understand. And, it would be nice to have one or two of such. And also, we are always highlighting, in autism also, we want to highlight a few kids who have gone on to the other side. It's nice, it's very nice that they're almost normal now, but that would be 1 or 2 children, that would be a very, very 0.1% of the population. The rest of the population is really struggling.
I know.
So there are parent bodies who would facilitate these, give awards to these children, and they motivate them, and yes, it is motivating to a certain degree, but the real problem you are not facing and addressing.
That's what I meant by saying it's become fashionable.
Yeah, so I need
it's a photo.
respite, give me, I don't know where to leave my child for 2 hours. I have not left my son for an overnight thing anyway. There is no place. I don't have that support system. It's not for me. It would be for so many parents. Nobody will keep, so it's so basic, something so basic like that. And who is going to help you is, I think, another parent.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's build that.
Let's build that. Yeah.
Let's build that. I think let's build that in a small little way. Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to some parents group in Bangalore in small areas. Yeah. Even if 10 parents come together in one locality and start something,
yes,
I'm sure the whole thing will spread.
Yes.
And if we think that parents need to make it fashionable and page 3, let's do it.
It's okay.
So let's do it. Because I think it's like it's an old saying which says, join the gang to beat them. So we need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Yeah. I'm okay with that. We'll get the media to support. I'm sure they'll support.
Yeah.
I have somebody very interesting in the participation group called Avinash.
Huh.
Avinash, can you hear me? Avinash? Avinash is somebody who's been diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Okay, Avinash is on. Yeah.
Hi, Avinash. I want to come your video on. And he did something very interesting with us together. Yeah. He did a 13-part series on, his whole journey through his last 30 years. So he made 13 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Of that. And initially, he said he can't do more than 20 minutes in a week.
Okay.
And he finished the whole 13 episodes in 2 weeks.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, and each of the film is what, 9 minutes or 10 minutes long.
Okay.
You must have a look. Hoopex TV has got the whole thing.
Stop listening.
Okay.
Hi, Avinash. Thanks for coming on air.
Hi, Avinash.
Avinash, do you have any questions?
Like I was thinking, is there any similar people severe? Got me.
Avinash, we couldn't get you.
My question was, like, this is wonderful, but we should do something for people severe disease.
What should we do?
Like how Shivani madam has done for autism people, like creating a group, big group like that.
Yes, we are planning. We are planning. You're also supposed to be the ambassador for the whole thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
So let's do it. Right?
Thank you, Avinash.
Yes.
Thank you. Avinash said that we need to build a group.
Yes.
Yes.
So what we are doing with Avinash, he's the ambassador.
Yeah.
So we are asking him to build a group and where we can develop skill sets. He's very good with computers.
Wow.
He's even asked me to teach him editing.
Okay.
But then he didn't like talking to me after that. And he's doing some good work. He's also helping some other friends with the social media.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of possibility. There is a lot of, you must watch his videos. They are brilliant.
Yeah.
You know.
So Bala, you can also come and do videos on our children, films on our children. They're all stars.
Please, you guys
Yeah.
should send them across. That's what you
Yeah,
need to
they're
do.
rock stars. Come and do, what all they do, what all they talk and think.
No. With Avinash, the whole thing was done sitting at home, and
Yeah,
he recorded and sent it.
yeah.
You must
We have
watch.
lots of stories, lots of very interesting stories.
So please ask them to record and send it.
I will.
Huh?
Thank you. I got this
Lot-
idea after looking at Avinash. Thank you, Avinash.
Oh, you must see the videos. Everybody in the
I will.
audience, please watch the video. Go to Hoopex TV.
What is it called? The films?
Hoopex TV. I think it's called, Avinash, what's it called?
Diary of
The Diary of a Paraplegic.
Okay. We'll watch.
So, yeah, it's really, really good. And he said, I can't do more than 3 minutes, okay? And then he starts sending me every day 15-minute stuff. And then he pressurizes me to finish the films.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
So that is the quality, right? That is the quality
That's
we
what
need to.
we need to get. We need to start doing this.
Yes.
So if you can get your students or children or whatever to keep sending. See, we have built a platform which is not there anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so any of you can make films, send across 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, doesn't matter.
So, Bala, one of the very, very wonderful experiences in the last 10, 11 months at the residential was, the last Rakhi festival. We started making Rakhis, in a small way. And somebody asked us that whether we can supply 250 Rakhis to the inmates of Kalyan jail.
Nice.
And I asked my staff, so can we do this? And they said, of course we can. And, the kids made 250 Rakhis and we sent them to the inmates of Kalyan. And they wrote us a letter saying that we felt very loved,
Shivani, we got something called the Hoopsters Wall, Super Hoopers. Okay. So it's all about, we want people to send in these kind of stories.
Yeah.
So just take a picture, send us 2 lines about it, and upload it. You can upload yourself.
Yeah.
See, the idea is these stories need to reach out. They should go beyond Facebook.
Yeah.
It's all getting stuck in Facebooks,
Okay.
It should go beyond Facebook. It should go across so people get inspired. Okay, so any story you got, any of your kids have got stories. We got something called the Super Hooper contest. We got something called the Super Mom and Dad. We got something called My School is Best.
Okay.
The whole idea is start sending us small, great things you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, the scope of your work and scale, I said, was...
Otherwise, what happens? Everybody wants to climb only Mount Everest before the top.
No, let them climb.
No, let them climb. That's not the problem is, can they do small things in everyday life?
Yes.
And then
let them do... Yeah. Then
that's
talk.
critical.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we finished the 1 hour time we have. And so, Shivani, the whole idea of this is just a conversation to begin with.
Yeah.
But we need to take it further. So I need your stories. I need your videos.
Yeah.
If somebody is interested in setting up a center, I'll ask them to contact you.
Please.
You need to help them.
Mr. Tripathi has got an offer from a municipal school in Mumbai who's shutting down and they want us to run it.
Perfect.
So it all comes to us and
it will
thank
come.
you. Thank you, Bala. It was wonderful.
Okay. Anson, please come and talk. You can come online. We are open.
Yeah.
Anson?
Yeah. Sir, I am Mani from Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Mani.
Are you audible, sir?
Yes, you are very audible.
You're audible, Mr. Mani. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
After a long time, I am very happy to attend this meeting, which goes through towards the benefit of the disabled children. In my past experience, even a small scholarship to them, it will help the children to continue their studies. Before they are getting the scholarship, their parents feel that they are a burden to them. After that, they feel that the children are gifted So I am getting some more scholarship from government side, and it goes to directly to the children's. So even a small part of scholarship to the children, in my past experience, it is very useful to them to continue their studies. Before that, I happen to see that most of the disabled children are um, um, drop out from the school. After they are getting the scholarship, everyone continues still that. So thank you very much, sir. Could you please leave your email ID, sir?
Shivani, you can also leave yours.
Yeah, I will leave mine also.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Anson, I would like you to come and talk.
Hello, my name is Anson. I am from Trivandrum, Kerala. I am actually a research assistant working at, just joined at something called Barrier Free Consultancy Cell that started in Department of Architecture in College of Engineering, Trivandrum. So I am also a paraplegic guy. So what we are working on is to make all spaces accessible to all people. That includes even paraplegic and then people with mental disability also. So why I am here is because we actually don't know how this we are not aware of the people who are having mental disability and all. So this was helpful in such some way. So to learn about that.
Anson, can you share your details with us or write a mail to me? Okay.
Yes.
Because we would like to definitely have people like you on board. Because ultimately we are looking at making safe spaces and comfortable spaces for people who need it. So we want to connect with people like you. So please keep in touch and do drop in a mail. Take my email ID and please drop a mail. We are building a community, and our community is not just about people with issues, but it's a whole community which is an ecosystem. So people like you also become part of the ecosystem for us.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we really want to do. So please do share your email ID and send me a mail. Send me a mail with all the details.
Okay, I will show you.
Okay. Even Mr. Mani, please keep in touch, connect with us, because the ecosystem is not easy to build. We need every person who wants to be involved to be involved. It is not just the counselor or an institute or the person with challenges. It requires a society to come together, and that's very critical. Anybody else wants to come and share something? Actually, Shivani, we'll also need to talk after this call, anytime you're free, and see how we can introduce new ideas within your institute, and then see how we can take this further and promote it and, talk to other cities.
Sure. Some ideas that you have?
Yes, we have lots of ideas. Yes.
Okay.
How we would like to do that. One thing I realized in the journey in the last 10 odd years is there are wonderful people who want to do something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All we need to do is put them all together.
Yes. There is no platform actually.
There's no platform. That's exactly why we have built it.
And if even there is a platform, there is a lot of mistrust.
Yes.
Right now, there's a lot of chaos. So
yes,
a lot of players who who would like to make a lot of good contributions we would get if there was a platform.
Yeah.
We need more. We need professionals as well as parents on the same platform.
Correct. So we have built it. So help us take it forward.
Yes.
And if people can go through hoopsell.in, you'll really realize what has gone into it.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy, crazy journey.
Yeah.
So anybody else? Deepa, there's somebody called Galaxy. Mehul, you want to say something before you log off? Nandini?
The only thing that I am far away, I practically cannot do everything. But if you guys feel that I can be of any help, if you want any data from here, or this is new to me, so I don't know much about it. But if you think I can do something for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. Bala sir knows my number and all. So anytime
Mehul has got a story also behind him. He
Yeah.
did a show. I mean, he did the show yesterday with us. He's a
Achha.
cancer survivor, stage 4
Okay.
cancer, and he talked about he was a smoker. Okay, he addicted smoking. So he talked about what happened, and that's something you guys must watch on our channel. It will be up on the channel on Tuesday.
Okay.
You can have a look at it. It's a brilliant story how he survived that. He was given 1 month to live, and well, touch wood, but 7 years down the line, he's talking to me.
Fantastic.
So there are wonderful things, and if you guys have got stories, please tell me. I would love you to come and talk on these shows. It'll help somebody out there. I'm sure about that. Well, I get a call, at least one call a day, which says thank you. And that feels good enough. And it's across spectrum. It's not even just about mental health. It's across the various issues that people are facing. We got something on single parents. We got something on adoptive parenting, on special needs parenting, the whole gamut. Because everything is an issue by itself, and only people going through those issues know what the complexity or the severity is of dealing with it. So yeah, thank you very much. Anybody else
Thank you,
wants to?
Bala.
You got 1 minute more. You want to talk? Anybody? But Shivani, we must take this further. I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much, Bala. Thank
And
you. So
I know it's very difficult. Ms. Tripathi, you're not coming online, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you set the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And somebody has to set the ball rolling. Okay, thank you very much. Have a lovely evening and keep in touch. Anything, please write. We want to bring about the change, and we would love you to be the change catalyst.